So in real time, um, testing will happen in this way. Okay, there are teams to do manual testing and there are teams to automate the test cases. The purpose of manual testing is they need to explore on the new areas. Okay, through automation what you can do repetitive work. You can automate something and you can run it repetitively. Okay, but you cannot do exploration, right? Programs they will run it but they cannot use their mind, right? You have to tell them what the procedure they have to follow and they will follow it forever. Okay, but first one should mention, right? One should find the path, right? So that exploration manual testers will do. Okay, how will they test means if I give them a product, they will first understand the functionality of it, then they will write the test cases. Okay, first I will tell you what does it mean by test case and how will it work. 1 minute. For a moment assume that Flipkart is my product. I'm an employee of Flipkart. Okay, so in Flipkart we can do so many things, right? I can buy a product. Okay, okay. So Flipkart is my product. Okay, I'm writing a simple test case. Okay, we know, right? I will do something. Okay, in men I am buying a watch. mm, yeah, I am buying a fast track watch. So I clicked on fast track. So he's saying watches shop now, so I'm clicking on the shop now button. Okay, I'm choosing one of the, okay, this is my favorite one, so I clicked on it. Okay, then I will get an add to cart button. I will get an add to cart button. Okay, see this, before adding to this cart I have zero. I have zero, right? If I add this to the cart, then it should be one. If the product what I have chosen is added to the cart, then the count will become one, right? That is testing. Okay, if it doesn't increment the count, then it's not working as expected. If there is a cart and if it is displaying the count, if I add some item, then the count should be incremented. So if I go to some t-shirts and if I choose a t-shirt and if I click on it, then they will ask me the size and they will ask me to so okay, after giving the size I am adding to the cart. If I add it to the cart, then again the count should be incremented, and this is known as testing. Okay, like if I go to, I can add it to wish list. If I add it to wish list, then it should come in my wish list. If I go to my account and if I click on wish list, then the element, the 1 minute. Okay, so if I add it to the wish list, if I go to my wish list, then it has to appear. This is also testing, right? So if someone gives me add to wish list option, if I go to my wish list, then it has to appear. That is also testing. Okay, so if I explain the functionality to the manual tester, what he will do means, first he will start with the test cases. A test case consists of two things: steps and expected outcome. First, the steps. Okay, they will write it in a detailed manner. Open flipkart.com. Okay, you should write a test case in such a way that any person who knows English, he should understand the steps what you are telling to him. So open flipkart.com. So I've opened flipkart.com. Okay, then hover on men. So this is the category, right? Hover on men category. Okay, then after hovering on men's category, click on t-shirts. Click on t-shirts. So after clicking on t-shirts, choose the brand Fila. Choose the brand Fila. Then click on the first t-shirt. 5. Click on the first t-shirt. Okay, then choose the size. Choose any size. So I am choosing the size as small. Then add it. Click on add to cart button. Click on. So I will put codes also. That means that it's already there. Add to cart button. Okay. So these are all the steps I have. Then expected outcome will come. Expected outcome is cart count should be increased by 1. That is one thing. Second thing, if I click on view cart, the t-shirt should appear. The t-shirt should appear in the page. Okay, these are all my expected outcome. So these are the steps I have. This is my expected outcome. This is known as a test case. A test case consists of two things: steps and expected outcome. The steps you have to write them in the detailed manner, what you have to do. Okay, after doing all the steps, what is your expected outcome, what you are expecting out of it. Okay, so what manual testers will do, uh, so one will write the test case, and so if I write the test case, one of my, maybe I can run it, or in the next release if I am busy, someone else will open this and they will follow all the steps and they will check whether expected outcome is coming or not. If the expected outcome is coming, then they will mark the test case as passed, otherwise they will make it as failed. Okay, but for manual testers it's really difficult, right, to run it for each and every release and to run it multiple times on different browsers on different operating system. So what will they do, in one release they will explore on some areas and they will write these test cases and they will give them as backlog for the automation testers. Okay, they will give them as backlog for the automated testers. What is our work? If you are an automated testers, they will give you these test cases, you have to understand them and you will automate it. Okay, they will give me like my backlog. So what is this? Check add to cart option in Flipkart. So they will give the name in detailed manner. Add to cart option in Flipkart. Okay, this is my test case. So they will develop the test cases, they will write the test cases, and they will give it. They will give it. So as an automated tester, what I supposed to do, I have to open it and I have to understand the steps. Okay, now we'll try to automate the same. Test add to cart in Flipkart. Okay. So if you are writing a test case, I told you right, at the rate before you will do the setup. In at the rate before you will do the setup. Public void setup. In the test cases you don't use void main. Okay, don't use void main, you don't use at all in the real time. Okay, first you will start with at the rate before and you will keep public void setup. Okay, here we will write the code for the initialize driver. So whenever you are writing the test case, first copy this code, initialize driver code. Okay, I have already shared with you, right? Just copy the initialize driver code from the test cases what you already have. Okay, now I have the initialize driver code with me. Now I will call it from here, initialize driver, and the browser name is, I'm giving Chrome. Okay. So for any test case, in Flipkart, I will open Flipkart only, right? So I'm putting driver.get flipkart.com. So I will open this URL. Okay, for any test case I have to open this URL only because I am testing only Flipkart. Okay, now at the rate test. In the test you should give the name, proper name for it. What we are testing, test add to cart. Okay, test add to cart functionality, right? Okay, I am giving it as test add to cart. Okay, good. At the rate test I am importing org.jnit. So okay, and we will write the implementation later. So after testing this, what will you do? You will close the browser, right? And you will terminate the process. So at the rate after, this is also from org.jnit, driver.close and driver.quit. Okay. So this is the basic template we will follow in real time to write any test case. In at the rate setup, in at the rate before, we will call it as setup method. There we will call initialize driver and we will call driver.get method to open the URL. In at the rate after method, we will call driver.close and driver.quit. Okay. In the test case, we will write the actual steps. We will automate the steps what we are doing in the test case. Okay. So I am sending it to everyone as the template of the test case. Compose mail. Okay, keep this template with you. So this is the basic template we will follow. We will use at the rate before, at the rate after, and in at the rate test we will write the steps related to that. So here, after opening flipkart.com, what we are doing? We are hovering on men, right? we are hovering on men. So I didn't tell you how to hover on men. First I will show you how can we hover on it. We till now we learned how to click and how to type something, right? So to hover, we don't have anything on top of web element. Okay. So there is a class called actions. Okay. I will tell remaining API in next session. But for this exercise, we need mouse over also. We should know how to do mouse over. So I'm showing that mouse over to you now. So I've opened my website. So here what I am doing, I am mouse overing on Java, then I am getting this menu item, right? So on that I am trying to automate. So if you wanna mouse over, what you supposed to do is first you need to find that web element. So if you wanna click on something, what you are doing, you are finding it, right? Like that, if you wanna mouse over on something, you need to find it like a web element. Okay, I wanna mouse over on web. I want to mouse over on web. So okay, I'm inspecting it. It's a link. A means it's a link. So I am saying by that link text web. After that, there is a class called actions. Actions equal to new action. So you will create object and you will pass the driver object to it. If you pass driver, then you can get control on top of the browser. Okay, you will call actions equal to new actions and you will pass the driver. That means you will get complete control on that browser. Okay, after getting control on the browser, what will you do means there is an API called move to element. Okay, there is a method called move to element. So on top of actions you will call move to element and you will provide that web element on top of what you are going to mouse over. I am planning to mouse over on web, right? So that web element I am finding web and I am giving web here. That means I am planning to mouse over on web. Okay, for move to element you need to pass the web element what you have already found. So whatever the element you wanna do mouse over, so that element you need to find and that web element you need to pass to move to element API. And you need to call build and perform methods, because if you build and if you call build, then the action will be built, and if you call perform, then only it will be executed. Okay, if you say action dot move to element and if you pass the element and if you say build dot perform, then the mouse over will happen. Okay, we'll see that now. So it's mouse over, right? I cannot show it on the debug mode, so that's why I'm directly running. Please observe that. Okay, look only at the web link of the website software tuitions. Just look at web. Java web test automation is there. Only look at web. After loading the page, the mouse over will happen. Just observe the web. Shit. Otherwise, let me run it in debug mode. Okay, let me change it to something else. Products, we'll see. Did you notice on products it came, right? Maybe with web there are other elements, so many other elements, that's why you are not able to see. But did you observe for products? It came, that menu item came. Did you notice that, or do you want to run it again? See, just look at the products. Shit. On debug mode I cannot show it. I will again run it. Just have a look only on products. We can notice a menu item bar there. Product, you will see SAP ABAP and sales developer. It came, right? Did you notice that? Did you all? Rajan, Harsha, Hari. Did you notice that mouse over? Didn't notice. Okay. Rajan? Okay. Harsha? No problem. I will show it again. No problem. Harsha, did you notice? Okay. Okay then. So do one thing. I will mark an area. After loading it, have a look at it. Okay. After I will run the program. You guys have to look at only this part, products. Okay. If you look at this, like this, something will come and go, something will come and go, something will come and go. Okay. This menu item bar you have to notice. Okay. If you open products, then it shouldn't come. The menu item shouldn't come. If I mouse over on it, then only that say SAP ABAP and Salesforce developer will come. Okay. Now I am running the program. After loading the browser, have a look at this area. Only concentrate on that area. Okay. Because it's really difficult to show the mouse overs and all. Okay. So I will run the program again. Look at only that area, products. It came and went. Did you notice that now? Okay, good. Yeah, that is known as mouse over. So we gave that element and we call move to element, right? So that mouse over happened. So these two lines of code will do the mouse over. So it's not like click and send keys. If you wanna do mouse over, what you have to do is you have to create an object for actions class and you need to pass the driver. Then on top of actions we have a method called move to element and you need to pass the element, then build that perform. So these two lines of code you have to use to do mouse overs. Okay. Now we'll implement the same logic here. So in the flipkart.com, let me inspect it. It is span and men. Okay. So definitely I will use the XPath. So driver dot find element by dot XPath. What is the tag name of it? Span. And in case of text, I told you, you have to use square brackets. And you will call text. Then within the text, you will give the text. What is the text we have? Don't type the text. Please make this habit. You should copy from there and paste it here. So span text men. If you wanna check that, so for the beginners, this is the right practice. Okay, don't give the XPath in the console. So don't give the XPath in the Eclipse first. First validate it. Okay, use $X and within the double quotes give the XPath and hover on it. Okay, you got two elements, right? Always write the XPath to get one element. Okay, or if the element in the list is the first element in the list is the element what you are looking for, then you can go ahead. If I hover on the first element of the result, then it should come. If the first so how will it work means in Selenium it always return the first element in the list. Okay, that's why even you get two elements, if the first element is the required element, then you can go ahead. So I can use span text men, but if the first element is this one, then you should add one more thing. You should add so text and at the rate class, then I will get only one element. Okay, because this element doesn't contain a class attribute. If I give and at the rate class, that means that the element should contain the text as men and it should contain class attribute. Okay, but here I don't need to add this and at the rate class because the first element is the required element, so I'm going ahead with the expression. So this is men element. Okay, I told you, right, there is a class called actions. Actions equal to new actions driver. So manual testers will give you the sequence of steps. So open flipkart.com, that is done, right? If you call driver.get, then the that way so that opening will be done. So I automated the first step. Then the second step is what? Hover on men category. So to automate that I am writing the code. So as an automated tester, your work is simple. You don't need to write any test case. The test case is your backlog. The test case is your task. They will give the test case with the steps. You need to automate the steps what they have given. That's it. So I'm automating the second step. Actions dot sorry actions dot move to element, right? And what is the web element? Men element. On top of men I need to do. Then build a perform. So that will do mouse over for me. Okay, that will do mouse over for me. Assume that I wanna click on t-shirts category. So just inspect it. So it's a link. If you get the a tag, that means it's a link. And copy the text of it. What is the text? T-shirts, right? So for links I have already told you. Driver dot find element by dot link text and give the text. Okay. And t-shirts, what you want to do? And t-shirts, what do you want to do? You wanna click. So to do click, we have click method only. Okay, let me run the program till now. If it's passing, so what is saying? Hover on, click on t-shirts, right? So automated till third step, and I'm just running. So because whenever you are automating, no, it's not good to automate the full flow. First you need to test one by one, or one step by other step, or two steps at a time. You can test it. Okay, so I automated till third step, and I am testing it whether it is working or not. Oh, sorry, man. I ran the wrong one. So this is my test case, right? So I have to click on it and I should say debug as JNE test case. It got failed. What is saying? So if you get an error like this, okay, in the failure trace, you should come down and you should, in the last line, you will see the test case name. Okay, click on it. Then it will show you at what line it's throwing the error. It's throwing the error on this line. What is the problem? It didn't mouse over on it. It didn't mouse over on it properly. That's why we are getting the issues. The reason for it is, I told you, right, after loading this page only you will get this men category. So you should wait properly till that men appears on the page. After that only you should try to mouse over on men. Okay. So in these cases wait is must. I told you, right, wait handler dot wait for element presence. driver, and for what element we are looking for the same element we are looking for this men element. So if you don't add proper weight, you will end up with these kind of issues. So now I added the weight. I am saying that wait till men appears on the page, then do mouse over on it. One minute, maybe selenium is picking up the second element. Like we are using this XPath, right? Let me use and class also. We'll see. Is it picking up wrong element or not? I am not sure. I'm also writing it for the first time. Oh shit. Why the mouse over is not happening? I clicked on t-shirts, but there is some problem with it, it seems. Sometimes the mouse over is not happening as expected. Let me check that once. I have something with me. Let me try with Firefox also once. Supposed to work actually, but it's not working as expected. It's clicking on men and then okay, 1 minute, I got one doubt. The main problem with mouse overs is you should not keep the mouse at the top. So always you should keep your mouse at the corners of the screen. If you have mouse some the screen, yeah, you will end up with these kind of issues. The problem earlier is I'm running the program and I'm keeping the mouse here, right? If I have the virtual mouse anywhere here, then I will end up with those kind of issues. So I should keep my mouse always at the corners. Okay, I forgot to tell you that. Okay, so these kind of issues you will get with automation. Okay, anyone can automate it if if that person learn these Selenium commands. But these kind of issues you will get, these kind of knowledge you will get only if you try in the real time. Okay, if you have the mouse anywhere near to the menu items, then the mouse over doesn't happen properly. So before running any test case, we will move the mouse either here or here to the top left corner or the bottom right corner. We will move the mouse. Okay, that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, earlier we faced the issues due to that. So I am finding that element men, and I am, if I don't keep this wait command, then it will fail. Okay, it hovered on men and it clicked on t-shirts. Okay, let me remove the wait command once and let me run the code. So it hovered on men, it clicked on t-shirt also. So actually I thought of showing the failure. Why it is coming means the t-shirt, that menu item came very quickly. It depends on your internet connection and your mission performance, right? Sometimes it may come within fraction of seconds, so it doesn't fail. But if it takes just 2-3 more seconds to show that pop up, then definitely it will fail. I will try to show that. I think it again. See if it fails, then I will tell you. It's not failing, man. If your internet connection is bad, definitely you will get it. What I'm trying to say is, here the t-shirt is coming very quickly. Here the t-shirts is coming very quickly, that's why we are not getting the issue. But if the internet connection is slow, definitely will get it. You may try it later, but for now I am uncommenting it. I am not able to show it to you. But if you run the program on some bad environment, you will get this issue. So it's always good to keep this wait for element present. This means what? Before throwing the error, wait for the maximum time what I have provided. So I will explain the code again. Here we will provide the max timeout in seconds. 120 seconds means 2 minutes. Before throwing the error, wait for 2 minutes. Okay, if you don't find the element within 2 minutes, you can throw the error. That is the meaning of it. Okay, it's always good to keep it. If your internet connection is not good, then it may load within 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Within that time, if you try to find that element, definitely it will fail, right? Now that's why it's always good to keep the wait command. Okay, so we automated till the third step. Click on t-shirts. Okay, it's clicking on t-shirts, right? So after clicking on t-shirts, we should choose the brand. Okay, what they're saying, choose the brand Fila. Fila. So okay, so how can I click on it? If you see here, so there is a link with the data tracking ID Fila, or I can click on this image also. Talrex. The tag name is img. Before starting, I should keep double slash, and the attribute name is alt, and the value is Fila. So I got two images. If I hover on it, there. If I hover on it, bottom. So we are planning to click on bottom. So I will give that also. Alt Fila and at the rate class equal to bottom. I don't share this code with you. After the class you have to write it by your own. Okay, don't watch the recording also. I am already explaining all the things, right? So just concentrate. After the class try to write it by your own. Okay, find element by dot xpath. This is my xpath and I wanna click on it. Okay, now after clicking on the Fila brand, I am saying choose the first t-shirt. So this is the first t-shirt. So if we look at it, what we have solid. So we will try with this alt attribute. In most of the cases you don't find id or name. If we have id or name, we can go ahead with them, but unfortunately we don't find them in most of the cases. That's why you should explore much on the xpath. Using xpath only we will find most of the elements. Okay, so what's the mistake I did? Img alt equal to, okay, it contains this special character, right? That's where it's failing, I guess. So because of it, it's failing. So if the text contains the special character, will be in trouble. So let me try to find something else. So in the source we have maybe something, right? Okay, I will try to find it using these values. img. So if I don't want to give complete string, I told you, right, we have contains. Contains in what we are checking? In source attribute. So src at the rate src, that is my first input, and this is my second input. That means in the src attribute value I am checking this memi array fila m, this value is there or not. See, with this xpath I am able to find this element, right? So this is my xpath. So I am going with my xpaths. Okay, if you have any doubts you can stop me and you can ask. Okay, if you don't ask me anything, I assume that you are understanding everything. If you don't understand any line of code, stop me and ask. So this is my xpath and I am clicking on it. So I am clicking on the t-shirt. After clicking on the t-shirt, what I supposed to do? I should select the size, right? So I have this small. So it is so simple, span s. So there is a span tag and the text is s. We'll see. Are we able to get it or not? Slash span. So we'll do one thing. For most of the elements we are writing xpath, right? Let me try with the, sorry, if it is a if it is a text we cannot do it through css, right? I thought of finding it through css, but we have the text. For the text you cannot do it through css, only for attributes you can manage through css. Okay, let me write the xpath only here also. Span, that is text, equal to what? S. Okay, we are finding the element, we are good. So again, after getting that element, I am saying driver dot find element by dot xpath span text s dot click. Okay, good. So I'm choosing the size. After choosing the size, I have to click on this add to cart, right? So I inspected it. If you see here, this is input. and the value is add to cart. Always for buttons it's good to go ahead with the value attribute. Definitely you will find it in unique manner. Okay, so value is add to cart and that is input. If you look at all other values, those are very lengthy, but so you can rely on this value attribute. Okay, here I don't write xpath because we have already written so many xpath. Let me write a css dollar dollar. Okay, so unlike xpath we don't have double slash here. It will start with the tag name input. For the attribute, here also we have square brackets, and for attribute name we don't use any @ symbol. We'll give the attribute name and equal to, and within single quotes we'll give the attribute value. I'm finding the element, right? Okay, good. Now I will say driver dot find element by dot css selector dot click. Okay, I clicked on it. So after clicking on it, I should wait for this view cart element. I should wait for this message, right, has been added to your cart before. So if I don't wait for it, if I check for the count, definitely I will get it as 0 only, because to add it to the cart and to update the count, it will take some time. After updating it only, it will show the message, right? So I should wait till that message comes and then only I should check the count. Okay, otherwise we'll try to find the count first. And so there is something called span id equal to item count in cart display displayed. So okay, that wait, we'll talk about waits later. So after clicking on add to cart, all our steps are done. What is our expected outcome? Cart count should be increased by 1. Okay, so this is the count. I inspected the count element. I inspected it. That is a span element whose id is equal to item count in the cart top displayed. So I will simply say driver dot find element by dot id, so that element will come. And I have already mentioned, I guess this is known as text. Okay, if you wanna click on an element, you will call click. If you wanna type something, you will call send keys, right? Like that. To get the text of an element, the method name is get text. Okay, I have already mentioned, I guess. If I don't mention, remember this. So if you want to get the text content of an element, you should call get text method. So that will give me the count. Okay, get text, that will return me a string. Okay, I'm giving the name as count because that is giving me the count, right? The text is nothing but the count. Okay, now I have already told you we have asset methods to compare two values. So asset equals, what is my expected value? If I click on it, I have an 0 here. If I click on it, then it will become 1, right? So I have 0. If I click on it, then it will become 1. So my expected outcome is 1. What is my actual value? My actual value is count. So whatever I have there, that is my. So sometimes you will get strike off, that means you imported the wrong one. If you get the strike off, remove that import. JUnit, some import will come. So this JUnit framework you should not import, you should import org JUnit. Okay, so this is, in this way you have to write the test case. Okay, this is the way of writing the test case. So we automated all the steps. Okay, so at 30 line with the 39th line, the test case is completed. All the steps are automated. Then using asset, you will check the expected outcome. So asset is there to check the expected outcome. He is saying that increase it by 1. So you know the before value. So after that, the count should be increased. Okay, let me run the test case. So it failed. At what version it failed? At this image it failed. The reason for it is, so it hovered on man, it clicked on t-shirts. After clicking on t-shirts, I am asking it to click on this fila image. Okay. The problem here is, after clicking on t-shirts, so see this, I am clicking on t-shirts, it is taking some time, right? It is loading. It is taking some time to load this image. This is what I explained earlier also. So if it is taking some time to load it, okay, if you directly try to find the element, you will end up with these kind of errors. You will get this no such element exception. Okay, so remember one thing, if the element is coming due to a page load, definitely you should add wait. You should add the wait statement. So that's why we have wait util. Add wait dot wait for element presence. That means that wait till the element is coming on the page. Okay, same thing will happen all other also. Okay, to show that error I didn't add wait statements because all the elements are coming only due to a page load, right? So you should add wait statement for all the elements. Wait for element presence driver. Here we are waiting for this element. So for whatever the element you are waiting, you should provide the same by. So copy the by from the next line and give it here. So I'm waiting for that element. After this, I'm waiting for the small. Sorry, it's already 9:50, but I wanna complete it. Don't mind. So I'm waiting for the small. I don't need to wait for it because if I click on small, then page is not loading, right? See this. In all these actions, if I click on fila, the page is loading. If I click on the first t-shirt, then the page is loading. But if I click on small, then the page is not loading. Page is not loading. Add to cart button is already there, right? So it's not needed to add wait statement. If the page is loading, definitely you should add. Now let me run it. It open man. It click the t-shirt. Click fila. Sorry. I think we wrote an XPath for the first t-shirt, right? That got changed, I guess. What is this? Memi Kla Fila 275 340. This is warrior, right? That is Kla. We inspected wrong element, I guess. Maybe, or we inspected some other t-shirt instead of the right one. Let me try it one more time. Okay. Sorry. I didn't update in two places. I updated only in one place. So I should wait for that element and I should find the same element and I should click on it. I placed the mouse at wrong place again. Sorry. I just wanna finish it in a quick time, but these issues are coming. Hold on, man. It clicked on fill up, then it clicked on share, it clicked on small. Sorry, after clicking on the small also, the page is loading, I guess. And I have to tell you what is the purpose of wait for element visibility also. When do we need wait for element visibility also? I will tell with this example. See this, you have add to cart button. Okay, you have add to cart button. If I click on small, again the page is loading. If I click on small, the page is loading. Okay, so remember these words. If you don't have that element on the page before, and if you click on it, it is coming, then you will use wait for element presence. But if you have the element on the page, and if the page is loading and you have to wait for that same element, then you have to use wait for element visibility. If you wait for that element, then it doesn't um, okay, it doesn't wait properly. Okay, if the element is not there, and if you are waiting for that element, then you will use wait for element presence. But the element is already there, even then page is loading. That means you should wait for the element visibility. You should not wait for the element presence, because element is already there. You should wait for element visibility. So this is the proper example for wait for element visibility. So mainly if the page is loading because of the click, then you should need these wait commands. Otherwise you will get this stale element exception or no such element exception. These kind of exceptions you will get. So you should call wait for element visibility driver, and you should provide the same by logic of it. So men t-shirts, click down, then click on the first t-shirt, click small, then it clicked on add to cart, passed. So actually it has to fail. So is it quickly updated? That's why the test case didn't fail. But if you run the test case twice or thrice, it may fail, because sometimes cart may not be updated within quick time. That's why it's always good to wait for the message also. The element has been added to the cart, like that you are getting some message, right? Wait for that message, then assert for it, then fetch the count and assert for it. Then the test case will pass forever. Okay, this is the way to implement the test cases. Manual testers will give the input like this. You have to understand that input and you have to write the test case to automate. Okay, so in this way our commands will be helpful for us. We will use our identification logics like XPath and CSS, because in most of the cases you don't find ID or name for the elements. In this example, see, hardly we used ID for one time, right? Apart from that, we didn't find any ID or name. Most of the times you need to rely either on XPath or CSS. So you will find the elements, you will click on it, and sometimes you need to wait for the element if the element is low, if the page is loading due to the previous action. And so these are all the things you need to explore. And whenever you are doing the mouse over, then the virtual mouse shouldn't be there at those menu items. It should be at the top corner, top left corner, or the bottom right corner. So these are all the learnings you should have. Is it clear for you both? Rajan, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you don't ask me doubts, you have to do the same. I don't share the code with you. Okay, I will share the recording, but don't look at the recording also. Try to do it by your own. Then only you will learn. Okay, if you copy the code, then you can complete the exercise, but you don't learn anything. I have already shared wait util, I guess. Use those wait commands and try to write the code by your own. Okay? Okay then. Good. We'll meet tomorrow.